Welcome back to Fantasy OT. Today we're going to talk about value streamers and DFS bargains at each position. Right atop the list, fresh off of his Comeback Player of the Year award, Geno Smith. I think Smith is going to have a boom week this week. He's coming off a QB5 finish last year. He had the 8th most passing yards in the league, the 4th most touchdowns with 30, and had the highest completion percentage in the league with 69.8. His confidence is sky high. Oh yeah, and he got an extension this offseason. And he's going against a team that's supposed to have one of, if not the worst defense in the league in the Rams. I think he's going to come out with a chip on his shoulder, wanting to prove to everyone that last year was not a fluke. And he has the weapons to do it. Between DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and newly drafted Jackson Smith and Jigba, I think he should definitely be able to hit the ground running this year. He also has an improved running game as the Seahawks drafted Zach Charbonnet this year. And with Kenneth Walker a full go, I think the Seahawks are going to smash this week. I think Smith is an excellent streamer and a fine DFS play. I would definitely take a chance on him if you're looking for a quarterback to fill in this week. Next up, Raheem Mostert. With Jeff Wilson going to IR, this backfield should be Mostert's for the next 4 weeks. I know the Miami Dolphins drafted Devin Achane and they have Savon Ahmed, but they're not going to pose any threat to Mostert's workload. We saw last year that Mostert is still a very capable back. Even him coming into his 31-year-old season, I don't have that much worry about him being able to produce. Miami gave him an extension, so they clearly like what they saw last year, and he's averaged 5.4 yards per carry throughout his career. Ironically enough, the Chargers allowed the most yards per carry last year with 5.4. They also allowed the 5th most rushing yards. So this is a great matchup for him. I think he's in a great spot going into a game that should more than likely be a shootout. He's coming off of a career year where he had a career high in yards, attempts, receiving yards, receptions, and I think he's going to be out to prove to everyone that even though he's a little bit older, he's still got it. Moving on to tight end, Gerald Everett. I think Gerald Everett's in a great spot this week. I know last year a lot of his numbers were propped up by the fact that Keenan Allen was out, Mike Williams missed time, but I don't think that's going to impact him too much. He had the 5th most red zone targets amongst tight ends last year with 16, and he finished as a tight end 13. Even with the Chargers drafting Quentin Johnston, I don't see his workload being impacted too much. Justin Herbert had the 2nd most pass attempts in the league last year, so there's plenty to go around for everyone. And like I mentioned, I anticipate this game being a shootout. So it would not surprise me if Everett has a pretty solid game to start the season. So if you're in need of a tight end and are looking to stream someone, Everett might be someone to strongly consider. Next up, this is pretty straightforward and also kind of flying underneath the radar, but Joey Sly. I think he's going to have a great game. If you're looking for a kicker, he's in a great spot. He's going up against the Cardinals, and last year, Sly started off a little bit slow, but come week 10 onward, he really started to turn it on. I think he's going to have ample opportunity for a couple of reasons. One, Sam Howell may struggle, especially in the red zone. So if they get anywhere near, it wouldn't surprise me if Ron Rivera just settles and takes the points. And 2, they're going up against a Cardinals team that's supposed to be terrible this year. And that defense, like the Rams, is projected to be one of the worst, if not the worst. So it wouldn't surprise me if Sly ends up getting a lot of attempts. Lastly, defense. I would consider streaming Atlanta. Atlanta invested $137.5 million into defensive free agents this offseason, and they're going up against Bryce Young. This situation is one that I always love. Anytime there's a rookie quarterback, especially in his first game, I think they're going to be shaky, and you have an opportunity to take advantage of that. Plus, Carolina's O-line looked pretty shaky this preseason, and I think with the improvements that Atlanta made, they should be able to get to him pretty easily. It would not be surprising if we see Bryce Young get a little bit rattled and start to make some mistakes. Also, let's not forget, they don't have DJ Chark, and Adam Thielen is nursing an ankle injury, so they're already pretty thin with weapons. They're either going to have to rely on Miles Sanders to pretty much do everything, which I wouldn't want to be in that position if I was Carolina, or settle and force a bunch of passes to Terrace Marshall or unproven rookie Jonathan Mingo. Both of those situations are one that should work into the favor of the Falcons. If you're in need of a defense, I would consider streaming them. Those are 5 value streamers and DFS bargains I would consider plugging into your lineup. Please subscribe and let me know which players you think are a good bargain in the comments below.